Hey guys, I'm here with Sydney. Sydney came into town Sunday, and so we talked about a lot of stuff with Sydney. She has Fibular Hemimelia, so I kind of wanted to show you a normal size amputation. So this is what happens to the heel pad. This heel pad used to be right here, correct? Yeah. So there's usually a lot of migration, and can you show them move your toes up and down? So there's a lot of movement in the limb here. So those are some things about a Symes amputation. So we prefer to have a Boyd amputation because it'll keep this anchor here. That's what the founder of the charity, Ryan Fan, had with me. Now the reason for this was Fibular Hemimelia. So I also wanted to talk about Fibular Hemimelia just a little bit because there were some things her mom wasn't aware of that I want to make other people aware of. There's usually a constellation of symptoms you see with this condition. So one is usually there's hypoplastic anatomy on the involved leg, both muscular and skeletal. So on her side, you can straighten this knee out, you can see that her femur, here's one knee center, here's the other. So you can see that her femur is shorter, as well as her tibia being shorter too. So that's one thing, the skeletal anatomy. Also her muscular anatomy, obviously she's very muscular, is much smaller here, and even in her thigh, it's much smaller. The other thing that often gets missed, that we did a CT scan here to kind of verify the condition of everything, there's usually some hypoplastic hip involvement, so the glute muscles are a little smaller, and the acetabulum itself, along with the trochanter and head of the femur, are smaller, and we definitely verified that in CT scan that it's about 1 centimeter smaller, the head of her femur and the trochanter on this side than this side. Now, not only is that due to this condition, it's also due to development. So when she would grow up, she just wouldn't be able to be on this leg as much because she would obviously not have it on at night, and then there would be times when prosthesis wouldn't be right and she couldn't wear it, so she'd be hopping a lot, and a lot of people have pain with their prosthesis, so they tend to take it off when they get home and just hop around. Whereas this leg got 24-hour stimulation to the bone and muscles for growth, this leg did not, is basically what that boils down to. So those are a few things to be aware of when your child has fibular hemimelia or you're dealing with fibular hemimelia, is remember it's not just having a leg prosthesis, you got to think about the knee. So the other thing we verified with her too is she has very lax ACL and PCL, and you usually see that because of the absence of the fibula. There's an absence of growth of the knee joint. So her trochanter is very pronounced. Her intertrochanteric groove is very pronounced on both the bottom of the tibia and the distal femur. So it's a very good lock on the femur to the tibia. This side does not have a trochanteric groove. It looks more like a smooth mountain than a large peak like you would typically see in a intertrochanteric groove. So in summary, you have musculoskeletal hypoplasia, often you have shorter femur, you have lax or sometimes missing ACL, PCL, and then you have slower hip development. So those are things to remember. Those are probably all present. It's not just putting a prosthesis on. All right, let's stop there.